What's up, y'all? Winter Von Wallenrod here to talk about another classic album on cassette, which is actually more collectible and in some ways preferable to the vinyl, even though, of course, vinyl is often preferable just by virtue of it being on vinyl. This is another one of those tracks, like I talked about Lord Finesse and like I talked about Digital Underground, where there are bonus tracks on the cassette only. So today's album is Roxanne Shanté, of course, queen of the Juice Crew, queen of all female MCs ever pressed about. Not the first, though, of course. Bad Sister, her 1989 album on Cold Chill and Warner Brothers. Now, I guess just a real quick introductory brief note before I even really get into it is that this specific edition of the cassette is slightly different than your general mass market, the one you're all familiar with, just slightly. You might see this little tiny note here. It's out of focus. Whatever, this little tiny note printed here across the top says manufactured specifically for BMG. It's on the back, instead of a proper UPC symbol, it's got manufactured for BMG. That's because this is one of those albums. I don't know if you remember back in the days, these, TV Guide and all that kind of stuff, you'd see those ads, get 14 CDs for a penny, those kinds of things. And of course, it was such an amazing deal because after those 14 CDs, you were subscribing to a music service. So it was only a penny for 14 CDs because then you were paying, $20 a month and you had to get a CD every month even if you didn't want one, and you had to go through their catalog. So anyway, back in the days, back in the 80s, my mom was a subscriber to that service, and she used to get her free albums all the time. She'd get the catalogs, and every so often she'd ask me if I wanted to get something, and so of course you can picture me being me, way back pre-high school, little Werner asking for stuff like, Mom, you gotta get Roxanne Shanté, Bad Sister. That's, I was that kid. And so I got the special BMG version. There's really no difference musically or anything like that. The artwork's a bit different. In this case, it's really just the little messages on the front and back. But in some cases, like the DJ Chuck Shut and Cool Chip album, pretty much the whole inside artwork is removed and stuff. So sometimes they're not 100% the same, but just about. But they are, these are printed in Indiana. They made special versions of all these albums. I don't know why. I don't know why they made alternate versions as opposed to just the regular stuff they shipped out, but they did, and that's how it worked. But that's just a little fun aside, because regardless of whether you went and got the obscure BMG version or just the generic mainstream wide release version that was in every Sam Goodies and music record store in the world, you got the bonus tracks, 2 bonus tracks on the cassette. Now, Bad Sister is one of the few albums where collectors will tell you that it's actually preferable to get the UK version of the album as opposed to the original US pressing. Almost always you want the original US pressing, at least of, US artists. But once in a while, a rare exception, specifically Bad Sister, people say, oh, you gotta get the UK pressing, and that's because it has a song that's not on the US album. It has a exclusive remix by Marley Marl of Roxanne Shanté's Have a Nice Day. Have a Nice Day was already a single by Roxanne Shanté that came out years before the album. So for the most part, it was a forgotten old song by the time she was on Warner Brothers putting out Bad Sister. That was now the time when she was doing live on stage and stuff like that. It was a little bit more modern, a little bit more up to date for the times. And Have a Nice Day was a dope, highly regarded single, but it was a single of the past. So it was already a forgotten old school song by the time Bad Sister was coming out. And it was already, even the musical style was a little bit behind maybe what they were doing, and it was forgotten about, and so it was left off the album. But of course, the UK version, they said, oh, it's got that remix, so you got to get the UK version for the single. Now, what's interesting about the remix is that it's essentially the original. I mean, all the elements of the original are there. Obviously, it's the same lyrics, it's the same hook, it's the same vocal sample on the hook of Roxanne Shanté's own voice from an earlier record. It's got the same bells, it's got the same drums, it's almost the same thing. It's one of those things, it's like a lot of Marley Marl's remix singles for Juice Crew artists, like Ain't No Half Steppin', Juice Crew Law by MC Shan, just all these where they Arrest the President by Tragedy, where he doesn't just take the original and throw it out and put on a new beat. What he just does is he goes back, adds a little bit more sampling, a little more scratching rather, a few horn stabs, a few extra little bit of samples, and it just livens the whole track up and just doubles it, makes it doper and better. It's undeniably superior, and yet it's not inherently different. So it's really, it replaces the original. Oftentimes you get a remix with a completely different instrumental, and you could be like, oh, I like Slick Rick's original Behind Bars, and I like the Warren G remix, and they're practically like 2 different songs, just happens to have the same lyrics. In fact, Behind Bars even has alternate verse by Warren G, but let's not get way off sidetracked. So in this case, it's really just an update that you can throw out your Have a Nice Day and just go with the Have a Nice Day remix. But of course, the answer to the mystery of why is it only on the UK version is because the UK version just took one of the bonus tracks from the cassette version, one of the 2 bonus tracks. It was on the cassette. So for most people, mainstream rap fans, because let's face it, in 1989, certainly DJs and hip-hop heads and, probably in New York and stuff were getting stuff on vinyl. But really, across America, we were all getting cassettes. So most of us, it was just another album track. In fact, let me talk about this real quick. 2 bonus tracks. Like, I remember seeing this as a kid. I remember almost all Juice Crew alumni had bonus tracks on their album. Cool G Rap, MC Shannon had these big messages, bonus tracks. And I didn't really understand what the hell they were talking about. I mean, I'm not... I wasn't a fool even back then. I understand the concept of bonus tracks, but as far as I knew, there was no alternate version. It's not like there was 2 versions you could buy, one with the bonus tracks and one without the bonus tracks. It's like they all had the bonus tracks. I was always like, what an arbitrary decision. They would just say, here's some songs and 2 of them are bonus tracks. Hey, I thought it was just a really cheap, cheesy marketing thing. And to some degree, of course, bonus tracks perhaps are a cheesy marketing thing. But I didn't understand, of course, that, the real release the heads were getting was the LP, the wax, and the cassette came with bonus tracks, and that's what made them bonus tracks. Now let's just we'll play some clips of both the original and the remix, and you can hear the difference. Not on the album. This is the original version. Came out 2 years before, 1987.
Y'all know the routine, and here we go again. So all hail the queen. I left before a while, but it was worth the wait because it gave me just enough time to create a funky rhythm that's guaranteed to move the world. Had the party people screaming out now. It's like Diana Ross, I'm the boss, and those who disapprove, you can go for yours. But to think a girl like me hot is easy to take. Treat me like Nell Carter. Give me a break, cause I'm a super female that's called Shanté, and like Hurricane Annie, I'll blow you away. Whenever I'm in a battle, yo, I don't play. So you best go about your way and have a nice day.
Alright, so again, that's the original. Now we're gonna hear the remix.
Think a girl like me hot is easy to take. Treat me like Nell Carter. Give me a break, cause I'm a super female that's called Shanté, and like Hurricane Annie, I'll blow you away. Whenever I'm in a battle, yo, I don't play. So you best go about your way and have a nice day. A lot of MCs today really know how to please, but I gave birth to most of them MCs. So when it comes around to the month of May, send me your royalty check for Mother's Day. Because yo, you can't deal with this. I'm Shanté, the microphone grand mistress. A pioneer like Lola Falana with a name that stands big like Madonna. Speaking of Madonna, some girls on the mic rap like virgins and get real tight, but I get loose with the rhymes I produce. That's why I'm queen of the crew with the juice. Cause I'm the super female that's called Shanté, and like Hurricane Annie, I'll blow you away. Whenever I'm in a battle, yo, I don't play. So you best go about your way and have a nice day.
So that's a pretty dope exclusive bonus track, and it saves you the trouble of tracking down the UK version, although if you want to own it on vinyl, you still have to track down the UK version. But there's still one more bonus track, and that's even more exclusive because it's not on the UK LP, it's not on anything but this. It's called Gotta Get Paid. It's the very last song on the album, and it features Craig G, which really, this, remember 1989, this is the pinnacle of the Juice Crew. This is the year Marley Marl's in Control came out. This is the year of the Symphony. This is the year that everybody was gigged on the Juice Crew. So wow, a Craig G appearance on Roxanne Shanté, again produced by Marlon Marl. I mean, he produced pretty much the whole album except for 1 or 2 remixes. What a must-have track, and it's only on the cassette. And this song's just a lot more raw, not just compared to Have a Nice Day, but to anything on the album. It's just got a stripped-down, dope, classic Marley kind of breakbeat, and Roxanne Shanté, Craig G taking turns freestyling. They say off the dome, and I believe it from how it sounds. It sounds very just boom, one live take going off the head. It's a short song. It's about 2 minutes long. It's almost a freestyle, except it's a bit more mastered, although it's not that mastered. Actually, the sound quality and specifically the volume definitely noticeably dip for this last song, which is a little bit disappointing. But still, it's an awesome bonus track. Again, it's a real must-have for any Juice Crew junkie. And of course, at the time, I had no idea it was sort of actually special. I just thought of it as another track on the album. I didn't know most heads on vinyl were missing out on it.
Rock the mic, go on, Shanté.
See, it takes a lazy touch for me to do it right. For me to pick up, and start to rock the mic. Some people say Shanté, well, can you still do it? Well, of course I can. Like there's nothing to it. See, that's the reason why I can rest for a year. And then you know that it's my name is just here. Some people say Shanté, yo, that is quite unique. How a girl can rap like this real fast and then do it off beat. But then I get back into, you know the groove. My name is Shanté. I won't say bust a move. I just say sit back, relax, listen to the voice. Cause my name is Shanté and yo, I'm top choice. I'm not trying to say that I am better than anyone. I'm trying to say that I am better than everyone. So anyone that tries to say that they are better than me, yo, then to step on stage and let's see where you'll be. Now I am letting you know I'm doing this off head, and I am rocking side by side with my man Craig. You wonder how we do it? That's cause we're the best, younger than the rest, plus a few people are fresh. Now, Craig, you know we're rocking. Get on the mic before the beat starts stopping.
I guess it's over with. If you want that to be it, or if it's not legitimate, I'm getting smooth on the rap rules. Yo, I got something to prove. Picture me losing in a rap contest. And if you battle me, you must be on best behavior, because you won't have a savior. Grab the mic and bust out the rap flavors.
So there you go. Another classic album all around, of course. It's got lots of hits. It's got lots of fantastic Marlon Marl production. Juice Crew right at their prime. Roxanne Shanté, probably her best material, her best album, all told. But specifically with 2 unique bonus track cassette-only songs. So see, sometimes it's worth hanging on to these cassettes. Till next time, Werner Von Wallenrod. Peace out.